Hello YouTube, it's Black Tiger Miner here making another video for you guys. So this video is everything you want to know about Dynex. So I've been looking at a couple of videos and a few sites. So the purpose of this is I'm trying to get as much information about Dynex as possible. And there's a lot of, I don't know how to say, maybe weirdness or non-transparency or just lack of information in general. So I'm making a video and trying to throw together as much as I can, trying to, I guess, summarize some of the videos on Dynex. So we'll start with the website, which I just saw in another video that this was the new website, and they had a older video or older website. So, centralized supercomputing, world's first neuromorphic supercomputing blockchain based on DynexSolve, chip algorithm, proof of useful work, PoUW approach to solving real world problems. And of course, I'm mining Dynex and it's pretty profitable. So, I'm not anti Dynex. I just want some more information. Like a lot of the other coins or POW or just the other mining coins, there's tons of information about it. But Dynex, no one's really talking about it. And only the miners are giving us information for overclockings and setups. Nobody else is really talking about it. With Dynex, POW miners participate on a decentralized network that is capable of performing tasks at unprecedented speed and efficiency, even exceeding quantum computers in some cases. So I want to go to this video first, and there's a couple questions he asks, and then go through this. This guy Yeti is pretty good with just the overall information and this Geek of All Trades. But I would like to talk to this Yeti guy or Geek of All Trades or just someone else that's more involved in the project because no one's talked to the development team or the developers or anyone working on the project other than this guy. So let's do this quick video and then we'll go over to the Yeti video.
Important thing I think about proof of useful work is that the whole point of it was for GPU miners to actually use their rigs to perform tasks. So another way to bring in profits, basically. And the main point of this is optimizing for proof of useful work will not be optimal for GPU mining necessarily. This is in terms of certain hardware that you bought for proof of useful work will not be necessarily good for GPU mining. For example, if you want to do AI learning, there are certain GPUs out there that will be way better for AI learning than there will be for GPU mining. For example, the A2000s or any of the A series are mainly focused on, AI learning over GPU rendering and stuff like that, or GPU mining. I know that they were very efficient, but we have GPUs that are catered towards certain things like proof of useful work, not directly, but for the most part, useful work, such as AI learning. And then we have GPUs that are for gaming. So those will be like your 4030 series, not particularly any of the other series from NVIDIA, but mostly optimizing for proof of useful work will probably have to include a different type of setup and won't necessarily bring you profits for mining. For example, when we look here, there is 4 A6000s on this proof of useful work dashboard. A6000s are very good for AI learning, so I don't know actually how well they do at GPU mining, but there's definitely going to be a trade-off between setting up for proof of useful work and setting up for GPU mining. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because proof of useful work for Flux is going to work in a model that you mine Flux, and then when it becomes available, I believe, you can choose to have your rig switch over to proof of useful work. And if you optimized for that, obviously it would be very good. But if you optimized for GPU mining, you might not receive as much jobs because you've optimized for GPU mining and not necessarily proof of useful work in terms of your hardware on your computer. So that's my first point. And that's not attacking any of the Flux proof of useful work yet. I'm just making a distinction between what proof of useful work will look like in terms of hardware compared to GPU mining. Next is that Dynex is not open with their
Is Flux and GPU mining, and the next question is about Dynex. So we'll do this next question, and I might come back to this because I want to show you guys the other video as well.
Jobs yet. So when we click here, we can see the finished jobs. I know that we can see the results here, but we haven't actually seen where they've come from. These are all the fees and rewards are 0,000. There's one job in progress right now, which is a SAT project with a reward of 100,000. I don't know if that is a real job or anything. We don't know where it's coming from. This is one of the things that I've talked about Dynex a lot, is the jobs that they portray on the network. Also, the total reward payouts for miners is completely wrong because they had one that was completed, and I have a video of it on my channel. I just can't find it right now, but I will try to link it in the description. But I have a video on my channel that says that there was a job completed for 100,000 Dynex, and yet this shows 27,000 Dynex as the total rewards payout. So I'm not really sure how they've actually calculated this or anything, but for the most part, they still are not transparent with their jobs. I want to see if Flux Proof of Useful Work comes out. I want to see the jobs on the network. That is a main transparency point between the miners and the company that is facilitating this, whether it be Dynex or Flux. You need to have that openness to see what jobs are being done on the network. That is one of my problems with Dynex, and I've talked about it a lot. Yet they said that they would be coming out with it soon. Same for Flux, their pay structure should be very open in terms of the amount of jobs on the network, how they're getting paid out, how much is going to each different miner / proof of useful work rig. You need to be very open with these things so that we can actually see that it's performing useful tasks on the network. And then going back to optimizing for proof of useful work, Dynex seems to pay no matter what the setup of your PC is. So Flux runs it as a useful work in terms of all the hardware that you have on your computer can be utilized in terms of like the CPU and the GPU, which is normally what happens in, rendering and stuff like that when people want to rent out hardware to render things like videos or to do AI learning. They normally don't just look at the GPU, they look at the actual overall hardware.
Flux, how do you get to this GPU? Oh, I mean, sorry. Okay, with Dynex, how do you get to actually running the GPU jobs? I think I would like his question about the transparency. How do you actually do that? So if you know, put in the comments, or if you have a link, put in the comments, but just trying to gather information here. I want to learn more about Dynex, but it's kind of hard because there's not really a lot of straightforward information like the rest of the crypto mining. So let's jump over to
So
this
Flux runs
question.
it as a useful work in terms of all the hardware that you have on your computer can be utilized in terms of like the CPU and the GPU, which is normally what happens in rendering and stuff like that when people want to rent out hardware to render things like videos or to do AI learning. They normally don't just look at the GPU, they look at the actual overall hardware of the PC, and that's what you're renting. But Dynex seems to pay no matter what the setup of your PC is, in terms of the fact that all GPUs can run on Dynex, but there's no mention of CPUs or anything other than GPUs, which is contributing to this proof of useful work. They will probably come back and say that it's to do with the neuromorphic chips, but I still don't understand in any possible way how that can translate over to not using your CPU or your RAM to actually.
That was another question, and let's skip to this pool
So
question because it doesn't seem like we're skipping to questions here.
anyone to make a pool, and I've got the pools up here. So these are the ones that have been allowed. You can't actually set up your own node. I believe you need confirmation from the Dynex team to create your own node. And this opens up, a lot of discussion because you can only mine to these pools with other coins. So down at Casper Coin, we're seeing 55% of the blocks are unknown. So this could be through solo nodes, and I've made videos on how to set up those solo nodes. So we're seeing more centralization if you don't allow for open pools to join the network, basically. We need full transparency, and we need anyone to be able to create their own pool and run their own node to mine, because that furthers the decentralization of the network. Next point for overall proof of useful work is that the input cost for average home miners is too much. This could lead to centralization through, people that have a lot of money could put a lot of money into proof of useful work and get a lot of jobs.
Yes. So that goes back to our question about the job part. But let's switch to this video with Yeti and Geek of All Trades. They kind of explain the process of setting everything up. And if we have time, we'll do that old and new video.
Dynex, right? There's a Dynex and there's a Dynex coin.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So Dynex is the actual company running the project, right? And then they've got their Dynex coin, which will effectively be the way that they utilize their system. The biggest thing that I've seen so far is obviously they're working on a solution for onboarding, which is perfect. They need a way to take normal, style money and have it converted on the fly by whether it be an exchange API or some kind of auto exchanger, right? So you pay in fiat, it converts it and pays out the miners. So they are slowly working on it, which is good.
And their main project piece of it is useful work.
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
rendering or some type of
So the
compute
way
with
that I
our
understand it
machine.
is it's 5% PoW and then 95% proof of useful work. So, that's why it's so efficient when it's mining, and then obviously it'll ramp up when it needs to do useful work. And we've been slowly thumping it one step at a time. We broke 1 million chips quite quickly. We broke the 5 million chip barrier quite quickly. We're now up to 25 million chip barrier, which is where we've just recently got to. We managed to run it successfully for 11 minutes with enough chips to complete the task. When I asked it for a little bit more, though, yesterday, it was kind of a little bit worrying. We pushed it a little too hard, shall we say, and it sort of fought back a bit. So still work done.
Okay. So when you say chips, million chips, 5 million chips, is that individual GPUs? Is that chips on GPUs?
No. So their chip is effectively a simulated variable set that would work on their actual hardware that they're trying to develop.
Okay.
They're trying to develop their own piece of silicon. We were chatting about this yesterday in the audio channel, and we were debating on whether it falls under an FPGA or an ASIC, right? So it works like an ASIC, but not with a bit stream, right? It's because it's reprogrammable. But it acts like an ASIC because it only does one thing, which is Dynex proof of useful work. So which is it? It's almost like a reprogrammable ASIC, right? But then that falls into FPGA again. So which one is it, do you think?
So could it be reprogrammed to use for something else, like
No.
a useful work outside of the Dynex platform?
No, I don't believe so at this point.
Okay. So it's completely proprietary.
Yes. Yeah, it's their own piece of silicon.
Okay. And right now you're saying that our GPUs that are mining, whether
they're
it's
emulating
work or useful work, it's emulating. I got you.
It's emulating what functions would be on their CPU. A bit like running x86 instructions on a 64-bit processor, right? There's that emulation layer that in essence does the same thing, right? Same principle with your GPU. The chips are, so it's working out how powerful your GPU is and then slicing that up into, think of it like miniature VMs, right? Loads of little Dockers that have got one little bit of programming that runs inside of the VRAM on the GPU.
I was just going to ask where that lives. It lives locally on the machines that are doing the mining. So it's not like it's pointing to their servers.
That's how they get it over 1x. That's how they get it over 1x rather than 16x, is that they preload into the VRAM. So therefore it lives on the card all the time until the job is complete.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really interesting actually how they've took their approach compared to some others that have got X16 or X8 requirements, right? Because they're
Yeah.
streaming to and from the card. Whereas Dynex has took this approach of, well, if we send it all into the card and then utilize the rest, then they only need 1x speeds.
So what all useful work is it completing? Like what kind of jobs is it doing?
So far they've got DynexSolve working. They've had that working for some time now. That's fairly straightforward and basic sort of supercomputer stuff, DynexSolve. So there's plenty of models out there that can test run their systems quite extensively. That bit wasn't so much what drew my attention. It's the machine learning side, right? Because if they can nail it for the price sort of barrier that they're trying to enter in, like there's nobody in that price barrier. No one.
Yes. So he does make sense with the price point and the price barrier with the machine learning. I have created machine learning models and I have ran them on GPUs. So I'm interested to get more information about that part as well. So if you guys know about it, or does anyone that has more information, put in the comments. Maybe we can set up a video or a YouTube live and kind of run through it. So this is DefiMoney, and he's talking about Dynex's PoUW old website versus the new website.
I think, you guys must know that text bit is going out of service. So thank God I keep my cryptocurrency coins on that, because I'd have been pretty mad. But right there, you got Trade Ogre, P2B. And then right here, you can see the exchanges. So this is really back in the day, like 6 months ago. Pretty good growth. So I'm happy I have this video still saved, so to show you guys. Right here, I was reading the white paper on Dynex. I want to see the website real quick, show you guys real quick. The old website, if I have a little snippet of it. Right here. So I'm just going to play it. So right here, you're going to see the old website. Going to pop up a little bit, which is right here. And this is why I was kind of skeptical, because this website didn't look that good to me. I'll pause right here. And right here, you can see, as at the time of recording this video, the circulating supply of Dynex was only 36 million. And they had periods here instead of commas, which is kind of sketchy for me. But yeah. So since then, I don't think I show any other page other than this. So I think that's on the video. Well, for this video, I'm gonna show you guys. But from that, and right now we're on a small little pump. I think we might go back up to $1, but this thing might retrace some more. So not financial guys advice, but Dynex, what they're trying to, build out, the overall machine learning platform that they're trying to build, could be pretty promising. So with that being said, let's get into the new website. So right here, so you guys saw the old website. And right here, you see the new website. So right here, they did a really good job. They put some animation. Right here, it looks pretty futuristic. It's cool, techie. And then scroll down, it says decentralized supercomputing. And then these right here, world's first neuromorphic supercomputing blockchain based on the DynexSolve chip algorithm, proof of useful work approach to solving real world problems. Excuse me. So, long story short, not only is this a proof of work coin, proof of useful work, the useful work is there, I guess, to kind of explain how they're trying to harness the power. Excuse me, I don't know what that was. Harness the power of GPU mining and overall proof of work mining to power a machine learning platform for them, for users of the network to get answers to certain problems and solve real world optimization problems when it comes to different industries. Like, there's problems with optimization in pharmaceuticals. There's architectural problems that they want to solve, like this, medical. So any other, overall industry that has calculation, that is involved with it, Dynex, is a machine learning. It's an AI platform. Just kind of help, think of it almost like a chat GPT, but on steroids, because it has neuromorphic supercomputing. And when I first saw this, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, are they really going to do this? Is it real? And I'm going to leave a link in the description to other YouTubers. It's free promo for them. I'm not getting paid to say this or, bring this to light, but there is some pretty informative information out there. There's AMAs and there's things showcasing the jobs that it's quote unquote doing. Dynex that it is solving. So there were some comments to those videos. seeing how it's probably fake, but I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on Dynex. It did make me some pretty good money. Overall, I got lucky with Dynex. Like I got lucky. I'm not gonna sit here and brag. I got lucky. It's a hit or miss. I invest in a lot of different coins, and some go up, some go down. Dynex just happened to be a one that performed very well for me, and maybe it could be for you guys too. Right now, the current you see right now, the circuit supply. Let me see the circuit supply Dynex real quick. Let me just go down. So driving the change says, artificial intelligence, healthcare, science, architecture right here, smart cities, global. There's AMA where he was talking about, Sumimoto was talking about how Dynex solved, or they gave suggestions for placing certain EV charging stations based on geography and different variables. So pretty smart platform, pretty smart AI and machine learning platform. It says Dynex chips running. There's a lot of chips running, and GPUs being used right here. You see right here this number. So Dynex is definitely growing, and the current circulating supply is 67 million DNX. So even with the dilution, and that is something that I did mention in my first video, because I did, dilution, because of proof of work and all that, and the mission schedule, I did say that.
So I think this guy's onto something. He has a pretty good process, and he had some of the old video and the old website. So I'm not sure. It makes sense for him to update the site, and especially if you've seen the old one versus the new one. It looks pretty good, the new one actually. And just trying to get more information, because it seems like there's not a lot of information out here, not a lot of new information. There's a lot of old information and a lot of questions from miners and mining work, but not a lot of actual talking or research for the project. I'm definitely bullish on the Dynex, sorry, on the Dynex. I'm definitely bullish on the Dynex crypto and the actual application and the website. I mean, the entire thing seems like a good idea and seems like it's going to be really profitable. Just trying to get some information or maybe more information about how it works and what it does. And if possibly, how can you run the machine learning algorithm on your GPUs? Because I have a pretty fair amount of GPUs that's actually mining the Dynex. So as you mentioned, or someone mentioned in the first video, the mining is part of it, but it's actually running the machine learning algorithms inside your VRAM, which is also interesting. And if I have that wrong, just let me know in the comments. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and help us decipher the whole Dynex product application token. All right, this is Black Tiger Miner signing out, and let's get back to the money.